Here back, Cranky Yankee F1. We are going to go through the start of this race, and this is the Mexico Grand Prix 2018 edition. And I just want to take you through a quick onboard just ahead of the race, just a nice little bonus. But I was kind of looking at my predictions and how things are going to play out. And there's a lot at play that changed from last year that I think make Ferrari by far and away the favorites. But let's look at the start as to why Daniel Ricciardo, who pipped Verstappen for pole, and Verstappen obviously ended up winning that race. Why pole so important here, but for the Red Bulls, why Ricciardo was positioned to run really well. Obviously had a DNF, but I really want to do a quick breakdown of what happens here, and it's pretty obvious. But when you actually look at his start, it's the last person's on the grid is about to pull up, so he's in neutral. All well and good, and we'll pop over to Verstappen after this to kind of show you the difference and where Ricciardo really went wrong with this, and it just screwed him. So he is right now. He moves it up a gear. Now look how erratic his revs are. You see these little dots. You'll see them in a second. So start in red, blue, and look like that's not a glitch or an error in the screen. Look how erratic that is. It makes for a very difficult start. Now again, I'm no race driver, right? Like I'm not driving that car, but let me just show you Verstappen's now so you can kind of see the difference. But, I went around the grid to be like, well, that's interesting. That really looks like that's obviously the issue. But comparing other drivers, they're basically their pre-start revs. They're really consistent. So let's look at Verstappen's. So last car on the grid, lights are about to go out. And you can see a consistent blue. So I'm going to take it back again just one more time. And you'll see him get out of neutral.
Last car joining back of the grid now.
Be told last car's at the back of the grid. He moves up slow. He gets a little erratic. And then boom. So you can see lights are about to go out. He's at a steady, let's get this out of the way. He's at that steady 3 blue dot. Now again, I'm not the engineer. I don't really know all the settings of this car, but I can tell you we can just kind of do a quick, educated guess, as that's probably his revs. And when he releases, just like in the game, of course, but when he releases, he's able to build steady. And let's look at Hamilton, just so we can, let's go back to actually Ricciardo one more time so we can see how poor his start really is. So this is 100% his fault. This whole race, he let slip from his hand from the very beginning. Okay, so here we are at Verstappen's one more time. We can see he's already built up. Let's go back a tiny bit more, and we'll see him actually do the build up manually. So last car's approaching the grid. He'll get the update, and then you'll see the lights go out here, and you'll see the revs right there. So you see the blue. He gets a little bit erratic there, like similar to Ricciardo's. It glitches a little bit the screen, but then you see his blue, and this is the top end of his revs. And now let's look at Hamilton just so we can get a clear understanding of how poor that start really was. 44. And then we can go back to where the actual start begins. You can't actually see Hamilton's screen to get the revs from his car, but he gets a very clean start. You can see him in first gear, just moved up out of neutral, gets told the last car's on the bridge. You can see up here in the right-hand screen, light 2, light 3, light 4, light 5. I can see a faint from here. I don't know if that translates through because it's not in 4K. It's just in 1080, 1920, but he's able to cleanly pass Ricciardo, and it just looks like Ricciardo's caught napping. Goes in the inside. Look how slow and smooth he eases in, too. It's a smart move. Tries to basically steal as much of that slipstream as humanly possible, take that toe through. It didn't end up working. He didn't actually get the jump on Verstappen totally, but it put him in contention. So that's a breakdown looking at the start. I just kind of want to show you what kind of happened. And yeah, how one simple poor start, especially at altitude with these tires the way they are, can really lead to a really tough race. So that is the breakdown of the start. I will be updating some more content for the rest of the Mexico Grand Prix, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for checking this out.